done the suplexes so quick, like it was like an urgency about it. And then Goldberg just spears him out of nowhere, and you're thinking, oh my God, not again. Spears him again in the ring, then gets him outside, and the way he put him through the barricade was crazy. But something I want to mention in that match that was equally as impressive is when Brock was on the floor and he'd done that vertical leap, like up in the air as Goldberg was coming in for the spear. That was really, really impressive. That was some leap that Brock did there. That is incredible. If you slow that down and watch that guy, unbelievable athlete, Brock Lesnar. And then of course he took him to Suplex City after that. I think he got 10 in the end, hit the F5. Didn't keep doing the F5s, which I was quite happy about. Like it was just one. It was like the John Cena effect when he kept getting suplexed. And Brock Lesnar wins. And, Brock Lesnar looked happy. He actually smiled at the end of this one. He looked like he was kind of a baby face. I got to be honest with you. It looks like that's where WWE are going to go with this. I'm not saying he's going to come out and start hugging your babies and telling you how great the audience is and how much he appreciates fans, but I think that WWE is content with having this guy not as a guy that comes out and beats up all their good guys. I think he can do both. I was really impressed with this, I'm going to give this a 4 stars. I think this was an excellent match. I don't think you could have done much more with it. I was very impressed, and again, just enjoyed it. Not a long match, obviously. Probably didn't expect that. Just 4 minutes 45 seconds, but they hit all the right spots, and that's all you needed. Next up, we got the SmackDown's Women's Championship match. At this point, I was thinking, are they even going to have this match? But they did. I felt like Naomi looked really up for this one, obviously being at home in her home state and everything else. But it wasn't a bad match, this one. I mean, the thing is, it was. I know that they say, oh well, like they got what they deserved because this was like the semi-main event. Kind of not really, because they always used to chuck on the women's match before the main event anyway. It was like a filler because it used to get the fans sort of pumped before the next one. So that's not really a big deal for me in this sense. Made a note here, James Ellsworth got his WrestleMania moment coming out with Carmella. And of course, the winner was Naomi, who got it by submission. Not a long match, just a little bit longer than Goldberg and Brock at just 5 minutes 55 seconds. But listen, at least they were there. They all pretty much, for the amount of time they got, they all really done a pretty decent job, to be honest with you. So I give this match just a 3 stars. 3 stars. There's not a lot more they could have done with it, but it wasn't bad for me. Next up, we had Jim Ross. I was really, really pleased about this because obviously this guy's been going through a tough time, and it was a nice gesture for WWE to give him the spot as the guest commentator for the Undertaker Roman Reigns match. I was surprised that they left Michael Cole out there, because I felt like surely Michael Cole and JR will get in each other's way, and it did kind of keep coming across like that, like they were both delivering the same lines. Because when you got 2 play-by-play guys, that's difficult. I mean, JR wasn't out there as like a third man to just be asked questions. He's a play-by-play announcer, so that was slightly weird that they did that. But nonetheless, really happy that he got involved. And by the way, he's the rumor is, or what's been confirmed now, is that he's got a 2-year contract with WWE. So that's really interesting going forward for WWE to see how that's going to work out and where they put him. Is it a full-time gig or is it a part-time kind of deal? Yawns have started to creep in now. yeah, who knows with that one. So yeah, we got the Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. You knew from the reaction that Bill Goldberg got that it probably wasn't going to go too well for Roman Reigns, and definitely was the case. Knowing that this was the last match and everything I'd said before, that if this is the last match, I definitely felt this would be Taker's last. I started to feel, even as he was walking down, like, this is it. This is the last time I'm going to see this guy. Of course, I was sort of like, for me, I was kind of thinking like, I don't, I just want to see Undertaker healthy after this match. I want to see this guy do as best as he can. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. He looked the most frailest he's ever looked. Like, he looked like he was, very weak and frail in the ring slightly. But man, say what you want about the performance he gave, but I think it's, this guy, he worked his butt off in this match for as best as he could. I think Roman Reigns brought it to the dance, there's no doubt about it. I think the whole thing, by the way, about the whole no DQ, like where the hell that came from, I don't know, but it was going to be hard to then make Roman a heel if they're going to have no DQ. I kind of thought, okay, they're not going to go that way, but they could have Roman overdoing it with the chair shots, and that kind of came across to me. I liked the way they started the match off at the beginning, like just how they had, Roman kind of like being chucked out and Undertaker saying it's his yard and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. And, Taker took some big moves like the Samoan drops and stuff like that. Every time one of those landed, you just felt really bad for the Undertaker, like, that he was taking it. Now again, this match, people, they're saying, it was a terrible match, and it didn't deserve to go on last and all the rest of it. I just think that's freaking ridiculous. I think this was a match. I think, despite Roman Reigns not turning heel here, I think they still told an incredible story. And this is the freaking Undertaker. It's not a guy that comes in every now and then. It's not a guy that's been off for 12 years or whatever. This is a guy that's been around. He's probably one of the biggest WWE wrestlers of all times that's been around at the highest level. Yeah, he never sold as much as Hogan or Austin or Rock, but he has been at the top level for the longest, and that includes Hulk Hogan. I mean, in WWE terms of staying in WWE, Undertaker, he's been at that main event level for such a long time. He didn't sell the merch that Hogan sold. He wasn't probably as big a superstar, but he has been consistent. So I was always going to give this guy a pass, and I think everyone else did. So I don't know why people were so down on it that much. Maybe because they wanted Reigns to turn heel. I don't really know. I felt, for me, the way they'd done this, even though Reigns, like, people were saying, why couldn't Reigns have done it at the end of the match and just sort of taken 20 chair shots to him? But then, if you'd have done that, you wouldn't have got the ending that we got. It wouldn't have been the same way, and I don't think that's how the Undertaker would have wanted to certainly end his career. So obviously Roman Reigns won the match. Whether you like the finish or you don't, it was a little bit stale. There were a few botches in the match, like where he couldn't lift him. But I wasn't too fussed about that. I mean, it wasn't like the worst thing I'd seen. So yeah, I don't know why people were so hung up on that. Really, in the big scheme of things, that was very small. So as far as star ratings for this, I'm actually giving this a 3.5. To be fair, I'll give this a 3.5. I don't think it meets 4, but 3.5 overall. And for me, this was a this was a very, very sad ending when the Undertaker come out, and he then put his hat on and his coat, and then he pretty much left his character in the ring. I mean, I just got all these flashbacks of when I was watching this as a kid, and obviously Undertaker was such a massive reason why I got hooked on WWE, and I just had all these memories of Undertaker with Mankind and Paul Bearer and Hogan and Ted DiBiase and all these amazing feuds. Like, think of all the different eras he's been through. Like, he has been through so many different eras. The Attitude Era, just so many different stages of times of WWE, and he's been, as they say, the one constant there. And that music was just playing his music. That, to me, it was just in my head. I was just having this massive timeline kind of flashbacks of all these moments. It was just don't know if that was just me, and then I really started to feel sad, and you see him. I think the icing on the cake to know that this was the Undertaker's last one is when he went out and kissed his wife Michelle that was ringside, and he would never ever break character ever to do something like that. But I think that's when you knew this was the end, and he'd left the character in the ring. And when you look to the Undertaker's face, I mean, I don't think that was acting. I genuinely think that was it. The one thing I'm saying is that I was glad that everybody stayed there and cheered this guy out. Nobody really left, and he got the ovation that he so definitely deserves. It was just I was actually really emotional with this one. I got to be honest with you, I was really emotional. This hit me. This hit me more than the streak, because the streak was more of a shock, but this was just quite sad, and that was the last time we see the Undertaker, really, it was a very, very sad moment, and when you finally see him go down, it was that is the end, and certainly come away with feeling a lot of sadness on this one. I've got to be honest with you, he hit a lot of those emotions for me on this one. So, but overall, I think this WrestleMania freaking rocked, and it destroys last year's. It destroyed it halfway through. I know Matt said that much when I spoke to him briefly on the messages when he was going through it quickly. He was kind of saying the same thing. I think we were both worried that this was going to be like last year's, but this was good. I mean, there was maybe, I don't know, one match that I really didn't like, but that's not bad considering everything else was really good. And as a show, I mean, this is probably going to be one of my more favourite WrestleManias to go back and watch. I've not really gone back last year's at all, but today, in one day, I've kept flicking back and I've kept watching some of the stuff. I've wanted to re-watch matches, and that's normally a sign that WrestleMania was really good, but last year I didn't do that once. So I think this is definitely going to be up there with some of the best, I thoroughly enjoyed it. That comes to the end of our show. Well, for next week, guys, obviously we've got Raw tonight. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on there, and we know Finn Balor is scheduled there. It's going to be interesting to see what Brock does. Who, is he going to be involved with, wrestling anybody else, and what's his next feud and all the rest of it. That's going to be interesting to me. See what they do there, and of course the Hardys. Are they going to do the Broken Matt character? Are they not? It's going to be interesting. Okay, guys, I want to thank you all for putting up with just me on my own solo for tonight. Obviously, poor old Matt couldn't get on. But he'll be back with us next week, no doubt about it. And I'm gonna shout out to Matt right now. I'm also gonna quickly give a shout out to Liam, who I was messaging quite a lot last night, and we kind of